After dental implant surgery, I had a lot of concerns. Is it gonna hurt? Am I gonna have to be very careful? Because I had a speaking event pretty quickly afterwards. And I was worried about, will I look okay? But also, would I be able to speak okay?
Aftercare and recovery. Two of the biggest questions people have about getting dental implants. So today I've invited Shirala here to share what recovery really felt like and some unexpected products and tools that made a big difference in her healing journey from the first 24 hours after surgery up to the 4-month mark. All right, well, diving into aftercare the first 24 hours. Shirala, I want you to walk me through exactly what happened right after dental implant surgery, what you were thinking and feeling. But first, I'd like to go back to the start and really understand what happened during surgery. Did they remove your teeth? Were you asleep?
I definitely remember that day. I remember going and I remember being a little bit anxious about everything that was going to happen. And I remember speaking directly to the surgeon and asking, like, is my case abnormal? And he told me, nah, I've seen this before. So that just made me feel so comfortable because I was like, okay, he's confident, he knows what he's doing, and he is not anticipating any challenges. And then next thing you know, I was getting the special medicine to make me relaxed, and I don't remember anything else. It was the best nap ever.
Wonderful. So you obviously had some anxiety going in, as many people do with any medical procedure, but you were put to sleep. You had somebody there, a CRNA, I believe, right?
Yes.
Who put you to sleep, and you didn't feel a thing during surgery. Did they actually take out your teeth? They removed all of your teeth?
They did. So I only have top arch. So they removed all of my top natural teeth. And I also had a few teeth on the bottom that they were really loose. And so they went ahead and took care of those as well. And so I was very grateful for that. And so, yeah, so I had my teeth extracted and then they put my 4 implants in at the same time. And so when I went home, I actually had like studs in my mouth. And in my thought, I was like, what is it going to be like going home without teeth? Right? Like I knew they
Right.
were all going to get extracted. But I didn't know what it was going to be like just being there, for the 24 hours without my teeth. And I thought, oh, they're going to put these implants in. Is it going to be sharp? Is it going to hurt? Is it going to scratch? Am I going to have to be very careful? But they actually put these caps on top of them that were round, and it was comfortable. Like, of course, I didn't have any sharp edges or anything like that.
Nice. Now, I'm assuming they wheeled you down because you just came out of anesthesia, right? You probably were still a little out of it, little loopy. Do you remember
Yeah.
any of the thoughts going through your head at that time?
Well, I do actually, because I remember waking up and just wanting to know what time it was, because I knew I was, asleep the whole time. So when I woke up, I didn't know whether it was going to be like lunchtime or what time it was, but it actually wasn't that long. Like my surgery was pretty quick. I would say like within 2 hours, I was in and out and getting wheeled, down, but of course, still loopy, so for
Right.
safety purposes, I'm thankful that they didn't allow me to walk out on my own. But I definitely remember it. I remember being awake and I remember saying bye and thank you to everybody in Nuvia and making it to the car.
So they wheel you down, they get you settled in the car with your husband. Did they have any sort of special instructions for your husband? He was obviously going to be your caretaker, drive you home.
Yeah, they had all the paperwork. They had a nice packet of aftercare instructions that they gave to my husband and let him know that, this is basically the step by step and any like frequently asked questions that I might have. And then also their contact information, just in case I wanted to get in contact with them or had any questions about anything. I had the number that I could reach to them.
Awesome. So this was right after surgery. you're headed home. You've got the implants installed. I'm assuming, did they pack any like gauze or anything like that?
They
It,
did.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I had gauze in my mouth, and I also had a nice ice headband, I like to call it, right? And so that was like my friend, but that was around just so, to keep me numb, I think, and also help with swelling possibly.
And now, what did they tell you about when you'd be getting your new prosthetic teeth, your new permanent teeth?
Well, they told me I would get them the next day. They had already made my appointment for like 3 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. And I was super excited for that. So it's like that's a ball of emotions that's happening, because you do have the anxiety about like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me? I'm about to go in here to the unknown. And, is everything going to work out okay? What if something goes wrong? What if, like all of these what ifs. And then you get home and you're thinking, wait a minute, now I'm anticipating tomorrow because tomorrow is the first day to the best time of my life.
Oh, I love that. I can feel the excitement, right?
Yeah.
Teeth. Let's go. Let's get them tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. Right? Like, this is awesome. Okay. All right. Well, we are talking about recovery and aftercare. So before we can get too excited about these amazing teeth that you're going to get the next day, we got to hit the first 24 hours. Let's talk about your go-to products that really helped you through those first 24 hours. And you
Yeah.
said that there were four specifically that first evening. So what is product number one, Sharala?
So product number one is ice. I
Ice,
always
ice,
say,
baby.
yes, ice, ice, baby. Yes, you need the ice. Just keep the ice coming. That's all I can say. But for me, I have this trick with the ice, okay? Not just icing the outside of the face, but also icing the inside of the mouth. Oh,
Okay.
cold inside of the mouth was so relieving to me. That's all I wanted was ice cream. And I remember telling my husband, like, I just want something cold, like, can I please have ice cream? And he's like, well, I don't know if you can have ice cream. And I remember that aftercare sheet, and I remember there was a number that he could call. And he did. He called Nuvia for me and asked that question if I could have ice cream. And they said, absolutely. As a matter of fact, her gums may love her for it. And that's all I needed to hear. I wanted to remain, number one, numb because the cold just kind of numbs you, But
Right.
also, I wanted to combat any kind of swelling that might have thought about trying to creep up. So
You're
I
like
was
swelling. I see you.
Mhm,
Okay. Take
I was
this.
all about the ice.
All right. Well, ice is product number one.
Yes.
What is the second go-to product for those first 24 hours of recovery after surgery?
So the second one I would say would be the syringe. Okay?
Oh,
The syringe. This is something a lot of people I think forget about, but it is so important. This is called the monoject. This is the exact one that they gave me right after surgery.
wow.
And it's your manual water pick. So you're not able to, use an electric water pick just yet or a water flosser, but they give you this. And so because a lot like you're thinking, "Oh my goodness, I want to eat, I'm hungry, but I don't want to mess up like everything that's going on in here." I know I have these implants in there and I don't want to cause any kind of infection or anything like that. So and you can't really like swish and wash like you really want to. But
Mm.
this little friend here is the perfect thing to get into all the nooks and crannies. And I always have to remind people, do not forget about your manual water pick. Just pop it out, just like a regular syringe, put water in there, put it in, and then just push it up. And it flows out just naturally. And
Yeah.
so it's perfect. It's perfect for you to have that peace of mind. Like, okay, I don't have to worry about messing anything up. And I also don't have to starve because I don't want to mess anything up. Right. So I had ice cream, yes, but I also had like some broth as well. And, hey, I like to eat. So I didn't miss a meal.
Girl, who doesn't? Right? Sign me up. What was the third item that helped you that first night?
The third item was keeping the pain at bay.
Okay.
I stayed ahead of any pain and I just called anything that I felt was discomfort. I took my ibuprofen and also I was prescribed another pain medicine as well, but I didn't have to use that as often. I just stayed ahead of the pain with the ibuprofen. And so that's very important as well. The aftercare instructions are very detailed and they let you know exactly how to take your meds, what meds to take, and everybody's a little different, but definitely follow the aftercare instructions that are provided by Nuvia.
All right. Brings us to our fourth item that was your go to that first night. And what is that, Sharala?
Oh my gosh. This is definitely the surprise. This was my surprise item that my sister actually bought for me. And I didn't realize how much I needed it until I needed it. And that was the neck pillow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
That's not what I was
my
expecting you to
goodness.
bring on camera. Okay.
It's the neck pillow. And let me tell you why. Because you must sleep upright. The
Mm.
first few days, the aftercare instructions talk about making sure you do not lay down. You want to make sure that you sleep as upright as possible. So for me, I know how I am. I did not even go to the bed because I would start upright and the next thing you know, I just snuggle down to the pillow. So what I did was I stayed on the couch. I stayed on the couch. I have like a chaise lounge and I had my feet up and I just stayed in that corner. And the best thing for me for comfort was this neck pillow. It gave me all the support that I needed. And I could just lay any way I wanted to. And also, it allowed me to stop trying to lay back because there's this big part right here as well. So, perfect little tool that I love. This was definitely the surprise. And I didn't realize that I wasn't even tracking that I would need it. And then once I got it, I was like, thankfully, I have it.
Yeah. Sherelle, that looks so comfortable. If you want to keep it on the rest of the show, like
I
I'm
know,
good.
right? It's so my favorite thing, I tell you.
Wow, what a surprising thing. So, after spending that first evening resting, relaxing, taking your meds, you said having a little ice cream, a little broth, you said that you were going to get your teeth at the 24-hour mark the next day.
Yes.
Did that happen?
Absolutely did. We made it there to the office, got there, and that was really fun because I wasn't the only one that day getting their new smile. There were a couple of us that were getting there, like I think two or three of us that were there, and we were all in it together. And so once I got there, just waited to get called back. And once I got called back, I got my new smile. I mean, it was I was concerned. I will tell you that because like during the surgery, you're asleep. So you don't feel anything, you don't know. So now you would think, okay, 24 hours later, everything's still fresh, and they're going to go in there. So I was concerned that is this going to be painful? You
Mm.
know, how is this going to feel? Are they going to be able to get it in? You can't quite comprehend everything that's happening, right? Because even though, like, I tried to look inside my mouth to see what was going on, you still can't quite figure it out. And that doesn't necessarily let you know, like, how are the prosthesis, how is that going to work and getting in there and everything? And what is it going to take for them to do that? So I will say I did have a little bit of concern with it, But one thing I did know about Nuvia was that they were going to take care of you, make sure that you're comfortable. And so I didn't have any concern about that. If I was feeling any discomfort, I knew that I could say something and they would do whatever needed to happen. But surprisingly, I didn't. As a matter of fact, for me, I felt so much better when the teeth went in.
Ah.
It was
Almost
like,
like the puzzle piece was or the puzzle was completed in a sense,
yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how sometimes you know how and the only thing I can explain it as or kind of compare it to is sometimes my husband he gets like a backache or something and he says pressure feels good, you know?
Mm,
Like how
mhm,
you just want to put pressure on it and that just makes it feel
mhm.
that much better. And I think that was what it was for the arches. I think once like they got in and there was like pressure on there, like it didn't feel like pain or discomfort. It actually felt soothing.
Ah, I like that. What did that mean for you in terms of the recovery and the adjustment period?
Yeah, well, I will tell you that having them so quickly really allowed me to adjust that much more quicker. And so being able to go forward and not worry about um, if I was going to have temporary or if I was going to have to go back for adjustments so many times, that helped.
So, walk me through what happened after they installed your teeth. You showed your family. I'm sure that was an emotional moment.
Ugh, yes.
Then
Yes.
what happened?
They actually went over like aftercare instructions again with me and just making sure that I knew, you know, how to brush them as well.
Mm,
You know, that was very important because I think a lot of times people are wondering, like, okay, I have this now. What do I do with them? You know,
mhm.
and so that's refreshing that they actually went over that with me before I left. And as I was checking out, they made sure to schedule me for my 2 week appointment. And then also, they told me that I could call with any questions that I might have at any time.
Speaking of questions, many people have questions about the cost. And if you're curious about what a procedure like Shirala's might cost you, just click the link in the description below for a free cost guide. All right, Shirala, we are moving on to aftercare the first 2 weeks. Now, you mentioned that you were going to be having a 2 week checkup, but what were you feeling during those 2 weeks, kind of leading up to that appointment?
Again, I think it was just this constant, I don't want to mess anything up. That was the constant, right? I am investing in myself. I'm investing in my dental health, and I want to do everything correct to make sure that this is a lifelong investment, that I don't do anything to mess up, right? So I that was really my thought process with everything that I did. It feels like a foreign object because your mind is trying to understand it, your tongue is trying to, get used to it, your lips, like everything is trying to just accept this new friend as a part of the body, right? And so during that time, like there's just so much going through the mind and you don't want to bite down on anything that's too hard and you don't want to get anything that lodged in there. You don't want to, I mean, it's just a lot of, I just want to take care of it. I want to take care of it.
Was there anything that Nuvia told you that you needed to do specifically to take care of your new teeth during this time? And how were you supposed to know, right, if things were healing right?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that because I really have two products that truly helped me during the 2 week period. And the first one is the mouth rinse that they prescribed. And so this is how I knew that I was doing all that I could to take care of the healing process for my gums, right? So, as you are cleaning your mouth and brushing as they teach you, you're also making sure that you are washing your mouth. And for me, again, I was trying to be as cautious as possible, but it gave me a peace of mind knowing that I had a medicated mouth rinse, that if anything was to go wrong, this was helping me through that healing process. And even that, I mean, they are so open to having a phone call that if you have any questions or you just want to say, hey, I don't know about this. Should I be feeling this? You can always pick up the phone and call them and they will let you know.
You want to feel supported after a procedure, and it sounds like you were getting that from where you went.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
So what was the second item?
Yeah. So because, I've been talking about this mouth rinse, right? Because, I like to eat, right? So,
Like I said, girl, who doesn't,
I
right?
have to keep the mouth clean, but I was enjoying food. I was enjoying a soft food diet during this time. So the second thing is the plastic fork. And that is one thing that Nuvia told me, that I could eat anything that I could cut with a plastic fork. So I always kept a plastic fork with me and tested my food before I ate it. And I knew that it was safe for me to enjoy that meal. So the plastic fork is definitely something that you need to have in your 2-week period and throughout your 4 months. Because the first 4 months, that soft food diet, and there's really no limitation. There's lots of things that the plastic fork can cut through.
Okay, so in your handy dandy tooth toolkit, you've got the plastic fork, right?
Mhm.
And this is interesting because I've heard that after dental implant surgery, many people have to do a liquid only diet, but that's
Mm.
not the case with where you had your procedure done. You were able to eat soft foods.
Right, absolutely. I was eating mac and cheese, the second day, that's what I was eating. Mashed potatoes. I mean, I did not really miss a meal. I probably ate better after surgery than before. And I think a lot of individuals find this out because the teeth are either loose or maybe they don't have any or they're broken or they don't really function properly to be able to actually, eat comfortably. So you miss out on a lot of eating, or you just learn to like swallow food whole, which is never
Mm.
good, right? Um, but what I found with uh, the Nubia Arch was it allowed me to actually, consume food that I wasn't able to eat before. And yeah, but as long as you cut it. My favorite meal was chicken Alfredo. So yum. So
Give me a high
yum.
five for that. Boo!
Yes, that was so my favorite meal, my soft food meal. Very good.
Now it's time for that 2-week checkup that you mentioned. So, quickly walk me through what happened there. And big question I know people have, was there any pain? Was there any needles? Like, what was going down in that 2-week appointment?
Yeah, no needles. No needles to talk about. Okay. Lots of pictures. They love to take pictures, which is great. You are going to, I mean, hey, I've turned into a ham. All right. So, anytime there's a camera, hey, I'm there. I'm photo bombing. Give me a camera. We're good. Okay. So, but there's lots of pictures. They just want to make sure that everything, like I said, is healing well. So they'll do an exam, but otherwise, not too much to, talk of in regards to discomfort or anything extraordinary for the 2-week appointment.
Awesome. Well, moving on now to aftercare, 2 weeks to 4 months. After your 2-week checkup, how did things start to shift? Did you start to feel more confident, more comfortable with eating? Had the swelling and any bit of tenderness or discomfort gone away? Walk me through what you were feeling after that 2-week appointment as we're moving on to that 1 month mark.
Yeah. So after the 2-week appointment, I think just hearing that the healing was going well and that I was taking care of the teeth very well. Like what I appreciated about Nuvia was they kind of give you like grades for your hygiene. At least my office did. And they were like, you get an A plus. And I was like,
Yay!
yay. So that boosted my confidence because, I just wanted to make sure that I was doing everything that I could, and I wasn't messing anything up. And just to hear that, like, yes, whatever you're doing, continue to do, everything looks great. So because of that, then I started feeling, okay, I got this. Like, you feel like, okay, I know how to do this. You get into a routine. Of course, the swelling is starting to go down. Your mouth, everything is starting to understand, that you've got this new friend, right? And so you're learning every time that you talk, every time that you eat, it's a new experience and it's another opportunity to practice, and practice makes perfect, right? So as you go on, after the 2 week into the 1 month, you do start to feel more comfortable and confident in it. And for so many years, you may have been afraid to show who you are, because you've been hiding behind something that you're embarrassed about. But now you're starting to get used to smiling without putting your hand over your face, or, just learning how to smile again. It's just, it's like a new world opens up for you. Your eyes see things differently. People start to see you differently. And sometimes they can't quite put their finger on what it is, but they just know something's different.
Well, I am a big fan of musical interludes. So let's just go for it. Ready?
Okay.
A whole new world. Like literally, your world is totally new. You've got a beautiful new smile, these functioning, durable teeth. So it sounds like this stretch is a bit of a waiting game, right? It's where you're continuing to heal and you're getting excited about the future. And it's also where you're building new habits. So, what are the main products, your go to products that really helped you stick with this soft food lifestyle and also help you healing strong during this 2 week mark up to that 4 month mark?
Well, what I will say is I found that if you cook food low and slow, it will become soft. So a crock pot is the go-to food uh, cooking apparatus, whatever you want to call it. Okay. The crock
Yeah.
pot, you need a crock pot, or really a casserole. Right? You can, casseroles became very popular in my house during that time as well. Right? So lasagna, oh, right? Um, I love broccoli cheese casserole. I don't know if anybody's ever had that, but that was so good, right? Love broccoli cheese casserole. But also the crock pot. You could put meat in there and just let it cook all day. And when you come back, like, it's just falling off the bone. So no need for you to feel as if you have to blend food or you have to not eat your favorite foods. Just know how to cook them well, and then they will turn soft for you.
And what was your next go to item during this time frame?
My next go-to is making sure we're going back with the theme. We got to keep the mouth clean, okay? And so the water flosser, all right? So
Okay,
this
now you've upgraded. You started with a little syringe and water,
I
and now we got
did.
like the big mama.
Right, now I got the big mama. And this one actually is like the medium mama, because
Okay.
I actually have Big Mama in the bathroom, a stationary one, right? She's
Mhm.
got 10 settings. What's very important about the water flosser, especially when you are released to use it, you want to start low. You want to start on the lowest setting. So if you do get a water flosser, whether it's a stationary one or a travel one like this one, then you will want to make sure it has different levels of settings that you could use that can grow with you as well. Because that is another thing about the water flosser. It gets a little messy until you figure it out, right?
Okay, wait, this is funny because with the food prep tool, it was low and slow, but also
Ah,
with the water flosser,
it
low and
is.
slow.
Yeah, low and slow.
Dum dum. Well, this brings us to the final product that you want to share with us, your final go to product during recovery and aftercare. And Sharala, you mentioned to me that you use this product throughout your healing and recovery journey. but that specifically during the 2 week to 4 month mark, you were using this all the time. So spill the tea, girl. What is it?
It's my cell phone. It is with me at all times. It is the thing that I need. And I think everybody keeps their cell phone on them. They leave the house without their cell phone, they're turning back around for it. But I'm going to tell you, the cell phone became something more than just that for me. It was an opportunity for me to see myself, for me to practice smiling, for me to send pictures to other people, for me to capture the moment and just kind of photo journal, right? You don't want to know how many pictures I have in my camera roll right now. I literally just looked at it the other day and I was like, wow, I have a lot of storage on my phone. But
Right?
I'm up there. I'm up there in the digits. And but it's because I try to capture every single moment. I am no longer afraid of smiling and sharing my joy with others. And I think it's very important, especially at the beginning, to begin to fall in love with yourself again. Right. I was there in a moment where I was feeling guilty. I was feeling very shameful. I was blaming myself for being in the situation that I was in with my teeth. And so once I did finally decide to choose me and go for it, and I knew that this was the right decision for me, it was once I started to come out of my shell. And so the phone has so many different things that it can do for you. But for me, during this time period, it really was a time for me to capture the moment and really just enjoy. But this phone has so many tools inside. It can be a timer for your medication. It can be the instead of the little bell you have, ding, 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 it can be you can send a text message to your caregiver.
I need ice cream.
Right,
10
I need some
minutes.
ice cream.
Ice
Yeah.
cream. Yeah. I'm swelling a little. Ice cream now.
Absolutely. And also, you know what? You could get to DoorDash on it as well. So, hey, there's lots of uses. This phone, do not discount it.
Before I let you go, there was a final checkup that I know you went to, and that was your 4 month checkup,
Yeah.
where I think that's when they clear you to go ahead and move forward and eat anything you want to eat. So, walk me through what happened in terms of care with Nuvia at that 4 month mark.
So yeah, at my 4 month appointment, I had the opportunity to go in for them to see how the healing was going, and also to address if there were any gaps that may have appeared now that the gum swelling has gone down. Sometimes there might be a little bit of an adjustment that needs to be made, and so Nuvia took care of any of that at that time. Um, and then also they clear you to eat whatever you would like. Bye bye plastic fork and hello fork and knife.
Oh, that's awesome. That's almost like this graduation moment, right? You mentioned getting an A+ on your oral hygiene test at Nuvia. You were taking care of your teeth right. And now it's like you've graduated, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you remember the first meal that you had after your 4 month graduation?
I believe my first meal had to have been a steak dinner. I am pretty sure it was a steak dinner. I'm sure I went big. I wasn't going to go home. So,
Yeah.
yeah, a table full of plates is the best.
Oh, yes. Yes. I have one final question for you to end our time together today. What advice would you give somebody who's listening to this podcast today if they're considering dental implants?
I would tell them that if you are considering it, look into it. If you have questions, then just click the link below because there is a cost guide and an information guide that will give you all of the answers that you're looking for.
Well, if you're listening and you're preparing your own dental implant journey, I hope this episode really gives you the confidence that you need to feel ready. Until next time,
Keep
keep smiling.
smiling.